So, here we are on Night Runners. I see a lot of confusion about the best upgrade path when you are starting the game, so I figured I would show you the best upgrades you should be doing to your engine and your suspension when you start. So, when you start, your car will be lined up just like this. So, you're going to walk up, customize it, and we're going to skip exterior for now. We're going to go right to the engine. We're going to go to the store by pressing X. Once we enter this menu, press X. Here in the store, the very first upgrades that I would do as of today, February 25th/24th, 2024, is I would buy NOS. And the NOS I would recommend is either this DIY low power or this DIY high power. It depends on how much you want to be fixing your engine. As in this, I will be using the low power because you have more uses, even if it gives you less power per boost. I'm going to add that to cart by pressing A. The next thing I will recommend is getting at least the circuit ECU. The circuit ECU, the circuit, and the prototype allows you to do launch control, which launch control gives you better launches and lets you get ahead of the AI at the start of a race so that you're not instantly falling behind and having to catch up. The next upgrade I would personally do is camshafts. I would get at least circuit or prototype if you want to save up for the prototype. This increases your red line so that you get more out of each gear. Which in a 200 RS that is 6 gears, and in a 180 RS there is 5 gears. You may want to upgrade your intercooler or your radiator to support these power adding mods. As you see, the cooling percentage is at 71%. You can go all the way up to prototype, or you can get street or circuit. As long as your cooling percentage stays above, I would say, the 70% mark, you will likely be fine. However, I'm going to go to the radiator street upgrade because it does not cost a ton. You can, if you really want to, put on the prototype air filter, as it's not super expensive and gives you a decent amount of power, which is 50 horsepower from it. You don't have to upgrade the exhaust or intake manifold to begin with. I would recommend doing handling upgrades first. Another thing you can do that's not super duper expensive is circuit or prototype spark plugs. Circuit may be a little bit more appealing because it is half the price of prototype and gives similar gains. So I'm going to grab that. Rather than just pressing B to leave this menu, you have to press Y on Xbox controller. And this brings you to your cart. You will see it on the bottom tell you your engine strength and engine cooling. As long as your cooling stays above 70-ish%, you will likely be fine. As long as your engine strength is above, I would say, 55 or 60%, you will be fine. As your engine strength will not affect your driving, it will just affect your car over time in the long term. So I'm going to buy these parts. And if I want, I can purchase express delivery for more. And what express delivery does is it installs all the parts at the same time for me, rather than me going through the menus and purchasing all the parts putting on the parts one by one. So I'm going to put on express delivery. Now I have the parts in hand after leaving the parts store. I just walk up to the engine, install new parts, and you can see the air filter is on. That is the oil catch can, whether it's just a tin can, but the new radiator and all. From here, I'm going to press B and go back. The next thing I would recommend is going to your handling and also going to the store. And you can see there's your brakes, which prototype brakes are very expensive, but they are worth it when you can afford them. But for now, circuit brakes are perfectly viable. I'm going to go ahead and buy those. Control arms, you can buy prototype or circuit. I will recommend prototype when you can afford it. And coilovers, I would buy prototype as soon as you can afford it also. Handling is definitely one of the first things you should max out on a car. That is why we are not going full prototype parts on the engine yet. So go ahead, buy your prototype coilovers and your sway bars, because sway bars are not super duper expensive. You can get the prototype version in 1 or 2 races if you're that good. Both sway bars, not just one side. Your differential, the race differential again is not super expensive. I would recommend buying that when you can. You do not need the steering knuckles at all. You can buy stock or drift. They don't change anything if you're just racing. So again, you don't want to go back. You just press Y to check out. You'll see the handling goes up by 5, which is a lot, and your braking goes up. Again, handling is definitely one of the best things to max out first, because the AI is very weak in corners. And that is where you're going to catch them up, is by upgrading your handling and carrying your speed throughout the whole corner. I already have many of these upgrades on this car, so I'm not going to be buying $2 million worth of parts when I don't need them. Now you may notice with your increased camshafts, you may want to go to your interior, and from your interior you want to go to the store. You don't need interior main or floor mats, or your dash or your steering wheel. That doesn't change anything, but the one thing you may want to do is change your top gauge here. You can have either this RPM gauge, which I personally don't like, only because this RPM gauge goes higher than the rev limiter of this car. So I would get this gauge, which is your miles per hour, because eventually you will max out the stock one. Let's go with pink here. And then on your dash gauges, you can I would get 3 of them. This option with 3. You can match it with the color of your top one, and this tells you your water temp, your boost pressure, and your NOS pressure. So add that to cart. There's multiple options for that. You can have them on your radio. You can have them on your side pillar. As long as you have one of the options that has 3 gauges, you will be fine. Now on your steering column, there is a reason I did not select the RPM gauge for the gauge on top of the dash. On this, you can have the RPM gauge and or the miles per hour gauge, and I choose here because the red line of this gauge is the same as the red line on the prototype camshafts. So I'm going to add that to cart. The only other 2 interior mods that will majorly affect your car are the handbrake, which I would go for a hydro because it is not super expensive. I have yet to test if the gear shifter changes at all. It may make your shifts faster, but again, I haven't tested that by any means. I just know it changes the look at minimum, and it could help with the straight cut gears of upgraded transmissions. For now, I'm just going to buy this one. Other than that, the other interior upgrades simply lower your weight, except for roll cage. Roll cage actually improves your handling. You can go up to this one, or you can go all the way to just a really basic one there. However, because I'm after handling, I'm going to put on the max roll cage, and I'm going to check out. Our handling goes up, but it looks like it doesn't go up by much. However, I can tell you that is more than it looks like when you're actually driving the car. I'm going to go ahead, walk up to the interior of the car, and install the parts. Now you see the roll cage, you see the gauges up there. The final thing that we have to upgrade is the wheels. So if you go to the store for the wheels, you'll see there's only 2 categories, the rim and the tire. The rim doesn't actually change the performance of the car at all. You can stick with the base steelies the whole game and you will not notice a difference at all. The base steelies are the very last option here if for whatever reason you don't have yours. However, for tires, this should be the very first thing you upgrade. Before the engine, before the handling, I would buy these semi-slick tires. The drag tires are just that. They're drag tires. I would not get them unless you were making a dedicated drag car. So for now, I'm going to buy the semi-slicks. As you see how much the handling brings that up to 2.95. That is the only thing I'm going to be buying here, and that increases handling by twofold, and it increases my braking. So I'm going to check out. I'm going to go ahead and put them on the car by walking up to the wheel and installing them. I can drop that part. Those are the old original tires. You can go ahead and go to your storage and sell the old parts if you'd like to. Tire, budget tire, X, sell. And you just get a little bit of money back from doing that. That you can put towards other parts. Nothing, not a lot of money, just a little bit to put you over that. The final thing we're going to go over here is the downforce of your car. So to get downforce, you see I have 0 right now. You're going to go to your exterior, and you're going to go to the store. The upgrades that increase your downforce are your front bumper. You see it going up there. The prototype will always give you the most downforce. So here I'm going to buy the prototype front bumper that gives me 75 kilograms of downforce. The front fender and hood don't give you any downforce, neither does the side mirror. The side skirt does give you some level of downforce. There it gives a total of 25 for the prototype part. You don't have to spring for the prototype part at first. Just as long as you have some amount of downforce that's above 0, you'll feel better when turning corners. So I'm going to add that to cart. Your rear bumper also helps, and that turns into carbon fiber for prototype. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in the cart. Your rear fenders. Your rear fenders don't add downforce, however they can lower the weight if you buy a carbon fiber version. Your rear lights, again, don't change your downforce, they only bring your weight down. And your trunk also does not bring you downforce, it only brings your weight down. Your spoiler is going to be your biggest point of downforce. There's some spoilers that give you more than others. It is not just based on prototype versus normal. See, this one is the stock version, and here is the prototype version. The downforce does not go up at all. The highest downforce that you can get out of a wing brings you up to 275 if you have all the previous upgrades. So here, I'm going to buy the stock version of this because it is cheapest. Your exhaust only lowers your weight for some of them, and it changes the sound. There's no way to tell how it's going to sound from here, so you just have to buy it and hope it sounds good. Your roof spoiler, again, is going to be a good, cheap way to give yourself some downforce. There's 3 options here. I'm going to go for this first one. And that will bring you to your maximum downforce. After that, you could have a roof scoop, but that does not give you downforce. It just brings you more weight. And the last thing that you can change on your cosmetics is the door and change it to carbon fiber, which lowers your weight again. I'm going to go ahead and check out that the parts I put on increased my weight by 5 kilograms. However, it increased my downforce to the max, which the maximum downforce is 280 kilograms there. I'm going to pay for express delivery too. Walk up to the car and apply the parts. Now, if you don't like these canards or the super race car look, you can walk up to the front bumper, press the right shoulder button, and you can press X to toggle it on or off in each category. See, now it looks just completely like the stock bumper. You can do that with the front bumper, the side skirts, and the rear bumper. However, you cannot turn off the carbon fiber look of the rear bumper. I believe that is it for all your performance modifications. Here I will show you a max out car with the minimum weight and the maximum power possible. Here is my full race car. I lied, it's not the maximum power, but it is as race car as you can go, as it is full carbon fiber. It is the 6-speed, fully stripped, as light as you can go. and the maximum power you can have is 922 horsepower as of this prologue, February 25th, 2024. So this is all prototype parts except for a circuit exhaust manifold or a circuit fuel system or something along those lines. And the reason I have that is so that I don't overheat as much, because even with full prototype intercooler and radiator, you will still overheat after 2, maybe 3 races. I believe that is it. Like I said, keep your coolant or your cooling below or above 70%, and keep your engine health above 65%, and you should be good to not repair your engine every other night, and you won't be overheating every other race. Yeah, let me know if there's any other tutorials that you may want, or any basic questions you may have, and ask them on Discord or in the YouTube comments.